Hey everybody, Brian Boyle here, and welcome to episode 142 of the Mesh Tongue. It's a new day, and we are just having an absolute blast out here in Hawaii. Had a retirement ceremony for my brother, commander in the Navy, that retired after 23 years, and so lots of stuff going on, lots of family stuff. Just a cool experience. If you've never been out to Pearl Harbor, you definitely need to get out this way. A lot of history, a lot of just good kind of ways to remember that life is precious, and that we shouldn't take anything for granted. So no matter what side of the fence you're on with things, it's always good to have reminders that that life is short and life is precious, and take advantage of everything that you can each and every day. But enough of that. Enough of the soapbox. It's an absolutely gorgeous day here, and what a great way when you're on vacation to kind of sit back and reflect, and really just kind of get your health in order, and spend time with family and de-stress, and do all those fun things. I just absolutely love vacations. I wish I could take more of them. In the sense of just kind of working from wherever, and maybe soon enough. But today I want to talk to you about returning to running after an ACL tear. Now, why is this important? Well, because a lot of people are going through ACL tears, there's not a real exact protocol because it depends on the way that the surgeon has repaired your ACL. But what we're seeing, okay, is that there's differences between those, the ways that the ACLs are being repaired, whether it's bone, tendon, bone coming from the patellar tendon, whether it is a hamstring graft, or whether it's coming from a cadaver, or yourself. The interesting thing is that we're seeing that there's a higher incidence of re-tear with the hamstring graft. If even if it's a 20%, 25% higher, that's still not acceptable. If you're looking at it from the surgical perspective, what they thought was going to save the world by changing the way that the patellar tendon, was taking bone from the kneecap and from the tibia, and then being able to get a faster recovery. We're actually seeing that the hamstring grafts, there's some really good research now showing that the hamstring grafts are actually having higher incidence of re-tear. Now, what does that mean? Well, normal protocol after ACL is that you can start running and kind of light jogging, straight plane jogging at about 10 to 12 weeks. Now, again, it depends on the surgeon, so don't take Brian for, oh my gosh, what Brian said. Okay, that's going to be something you can have to talk to your surgeon about. But normally, if everything is going well, 10 to 12 weeks, you should be able to start light jogging on the treadmill. And that's where we return to our return to running program, where we start going walk, jog. Now, again, this is not really a steadfast, but you can start cutting by that 18 weeks. So this is more for other sports and things like that. But it's always a good idea to not just necessarily train for specificity of getting back to long distance running, the reason being is that a lot of runners also do other things, like myself, especially if you're not really competing anymore and you just want to run just for stress relief. If you want to play with the kids in the backyard, if you want to be able to ski, if you want to be able to do all of these other things, well, then you need to train the knee to be able to handle all of those stresses. And so when we think about that, it's not great enough or good enough just to train for straight plane running. So as we start getting into this, a lot of times therapy will stop at maybe 10 to 12 weeks, 14 weeks, depending on your insurance company. You're not even really to the thick of things. So don't get into the fallacy of you're done as soon as your insurance is up, or as soon as the therapy is done because you're walking or you're able to jog straight ahead. The reality is that even at 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, a year, we're seeing an awful lot of differences between both sides, either the repaired side and the non-repair side. or if there was a revision after you've torn, that's even bigger. And so we're seeing as much as 50 to 75% difference in some cases, and that's even in a healthy population. There's a really good study that came out of in University of Wisconsin. They were showing that for all athletes, now it wasn't just cross country and track, but all athletes, there was typically a significant difference of almost 50% between injured leg and uninjured leg, even after repair. 6 months to a year afterwards, and these were healthy college Division I athletes. So imagine if you're now in your 30s or 40s or 50s and you have your ACL repaired, what there may be some even bigger significant differences. So you got to make sure that when you're okay and you're cleared to run, all right, that you're continuing to strengthen. So that's a big key. You got to make sure that you continue to strengthen. You got to strengthen the quadriceps and the hamstrings, also the adductors and abductor groups. So strengthen the entire knee. That's going to provide more stability to the knee, and then you can get back into your running. You're going to phase that in over a period of time, depending on how long you were away. We've got some other videos as to show that. Again, so figuring that 1 to 2 weeks for every 1 week down, to return. So that, again, if you were down before the surgery and then you had surgery and then you're coming back, it could be an extended period of time. And then you're going to take how your knee feels, into play there. So you'll say, hey, my knee's feeling really good. It's not feeling good. If you're noticing any swelling, if you're noticing any increase in pain, even if it's 3, 4, 5, 6 months after, that's a good indicator that you need to back off whatever you're doing. Okay, these are some of the symptoms that you'd be looking out for. Some of the things that somebody would call me and say, hey, Brian, something's not right. My knee's not feeling great. We're going to shut you down and back you off. So typically speaking, just straight plain running long distance, you want to get out and jog 5K, 10K after an ACL repair. Figure that planning on that 4 to 6 month mark. Anything else, is going to require more stability, more strengthening. It can take that 12 to 16 weeks to strengthen the knee around there. And if most people aren't starting strengthening, depends on the surgery, depends on the surgeon, depends on protocol they use, depends on the insurance company. I mean, there have been some cases where we've had to work comp cases, all right, where they haven't been into therapy because they haven't gotten approval for almost 10 to 12 weeks. And so you've gone 3 months without any sort of therapy. That's going to delay the return. So that's it, episode 142, how to return after an ACL repair. Obviously, you should be working with your therapist, and physician when you are in this, but this is what you can kind of expect. And then you need to make sure that you let them know whether or not you are having any issues, pain, swelling. Again, use those as the guide. So that's it, episode 142. Please check out runpainless.com. If you find some value in this, share this with your friends, your family, your training partners. Whatever you do, don't go hurting yourself to come back. I'll see you again tomorrow. All right, take care.